there's been a lot of gaming. Well, whether that be Pal World, whether that be Hellblade, whether that be one of the many of RTSs that have come out. Maybe it's an indie game that just took you by storm. There's been a lot of really great gaming on Xbox in 2024. We're going to get to 2025 second half, but I want to hear what are your thoughts? What are your your feelings about the brand? How did Xbox treat you in 2024?
Well, I mean, I have 1,100 hours in Gears 5, and I caught trash for downloading it on Game Pass when it came out. You're a Gears head and you didn't buy the game. No, I'm already a subscriber. Sorry. And yes, I still have it. And yes, 1,100 hours is a lot. 22 prestige, Mortal Kombat 11. Like, I bought that game and it's on Game Pass as well, by the way, people. And I have 500 plus hours in that game. I play what I want, and I think everybody knows that. I'm taking a week off, and in the next 2 weeks, I'll have a whole week off, and I'm going to beat Indiana Jones because it's one of those the look from everyone else. Either they're mad that it's not on PlayStation, or they're super happy that they got it in Game Pass, or they bought it. And I see no hate. And that's where I say, okay, this game, because later Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the first movies I ever saw in theaters. It was a re-release. My parents brought me to it. And yeah, that was very special to me. And when I saw the trailer, I was like, yes, this hits all the indie humor. But I'm also one of those people that is a binge watcher, and I mean, it's movie like from what I've seen, but at the same time, it has gaming aspects that I feel like some of these movie like games don't really hit. So I think I'm going to really enjoy it, and I want to enjoy it the way I want to. The showcase, if you want to, you might not be a Game Pass subscriber if you don't understand how good that showcase was, because that showcase was phenomenal. You could sit here and say, oh, well, Doom the Dark Ages is coming to PlayStation. I don't care. I'm getting it on Game Pass. Okay. And I have a hard enough time with Eternal, by the way. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm not one of those that goes down to the lowest level, but I still haven't beat that game because it's too much. And that's where I say, like, Stalker 2, huge success. Like, even if you look at like its Steam numbers and everything else, huge success, regardless of your Metacritic and all that BS. Okay. And you look at it and say, oh, that's in Game Pass too. Well, it's not. I could barely do Eternal. How am I going to do that? Because that game looks like a Souls-like first-person shooter, and that's just not my jam, bro. Like, that's the way I look at it. I don't have the time to get frustrated. All right. Like, I play what I like. So I look at the future more than the past. But the past right now is a lot of, I mean, boom, you highlighted it. A lot of people are throwing themselves over the ledge and being like, no, I'm PlayStation now. And I say, okay, that's cool. But what multiplayer games you got on PlayStation that are worth anything? Not a whole lot. Okay, you're probably still on Xbox. You just hide your account or say you're not online. Like, they allow you to do that. That's cool. All right, but don't sit here and act like you ain't playing on Xbox. Come on now. We seen this dude out of nowhere, Eli Black, come out and be like, like the features.
He's exploded on the scene. That guy. He's I know that C Money and the missus interviewed him. I got to reach out to him and get him on the show just to kind of just have a general conversation. But here's a guy. That's a great point. This guy, if came out of nowhere, basically was like, yeah, listen, my wife bought me an Xbox. I tried it out. And I'm just blown away. And I think that what you could see in regards to that crispy bomb is you might see some converts coming over from PlayStation because the games just seem to be so good. I mean, look at what happened with Digital Foundry this week. They declared Indiana Jones and Hellblade 2, their number 1 and number 2 picks respectively as the best gaming graphics of 2024. Think about that, Crispy Bomb. That is 2 first-party games inside Xbox Game Pass from first party. I mean, wow.
I was surprised that they did that because, like, you know, we understand that like most of their viewer audience is, you know, PlayStation centric in some way, shape, or form. Like, yes, I mean, they do good analysts, like they really do. Like, you know, they'll have the side by side comparisons, all that stuff. I appreciate that. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, but you know, we understand that PlayStation is the console for third party. So when we get into third party, sometimes Xbox wins, sometimes PlayStation wins. You know, it doesn't really matter. When we get into first party, and for them to do that, you know, and say, hey, these first party games, these are the ones that you should go and pick up because they look amazing. That is a first for a long time. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember the last time. Maybe it was a Gears game or something that they probably put out there and said, "Hey, this game is amazing." But that's the weird thing. Like, I think we're seeing a shift, and it has something to do with Xbox because Xbox is like, you know what? We don't care. We're gonna release games like Sea of Thieves is in the top 20 of PlayStation for year end for purchases.
It's
like
crazy.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? For year end, I'm not talking like at launch, like year end, like Sea of Thieves. How old is that game? Seriously, think about
6
it.
or 7 years
I
old.
feel old just thinking about it's going to be 20 years since Gears came out in 2026. Like, I feel old as hell because like I remember picking up and playing that game for the first time and being like, wow, okay, what am I missing here? And that's where I became an Xbox gamer. And that's where I relate to that dude, Eli, because when I didn't have it, I didn't know. And we didn't have social media like we did. But now that we do, I go and look at this dude. And I'd be like, you get to experience Halo for the first time. You get to experience Gears for the first time. I am jealous. I am absolutely jealous because you have so many games, and some of them you could throw away to the curb. But I mean, the dude, he should have started with Reach. That's what he should have started with. You know what I mean? Because if you go timeline, but he wanted to go off of graphical fidelity in my eyes, which I understand. You know what I mean? Like Halo CE is not Halo Reach status. But at the same time, you look at people finally experiencing, saying, you know what, I don't want to be a fanboy anymore. I want to try the new stuff out. Yeah, my wife might have helped me into this, you know, ecosystem, but now I can't unsee it. And let's be honest, like, he highlighted very well Quick Resume, because Quick Resume, especially for me, because I mean,
gets overlooked as
I could go Mortal Kombat.
Yes,
I can go to Gears 5, then I can go to Fallout. And all those games literally boot up immediately. And people don't understand that. Like, it's literally, I don't have to save anymore. I don't even save anymore. It just boots right up. And he's experiencing it for the first time. And he's literally laying it out for some of you guys that are on the fence. Like, dude, like the Series S does it too, bro. Like, you know, if you don't have the money for the Series X, you can go and get the Series S. If you're a graphical individual, like, yeah, you're going to want the Series X, but they're all in stock because now all of a sudden, like, you know, people are like, oh, they're not saying nothing about them being in stock and PS5 being out. Well, guess what? They're trying to sell you the Pro, people. Like, hello world. Like, they made a new console just like the One X, you know, but guess what? The One X, you could buy the One S back then. You know, they gave you that option. Doesn't seem like PlayStation's worthy of that. They're trying to push the Pro, but they have nothing to push it with. And that's where we get into the games. And the games, I mean, that showcase, it showed you the games. Now, you want to have the debate whether they're going to go to PlayStation or not. I really don't care. They're in Game Pass. That's what I care about. Okay? Like, you want to play me on Gears, bro? Oh, I will gladly smash you. All right? Like that's where I get, you know, like, hey, like, if Gears of War Phoenix Collection comes out and it's on PlayStation, I don't care. But I would be the one that say, don't release E-Day on there. And that's how you get people into the ecosystem. You allow them to experience Gears if they like it, but they can't get E-Day. They might be inclined to buy a new Xbox console. And that's where you release the new Xbox console with said Gears. So
I think you all are further evolved than me, because I still would feel a way if they put Gears over there.
I've really
Boom's on your page.
No. To be, we're going to get into that, because that's a fantastic point. I think you're onto something where the point of caring. I understand. Like for me, I was of a much different mindset to open the 24 campaign. I was like, yo, you heard me on the podcast. I wouldn't give PlayStation nothing. I wouldn't give them nothing. I would be a Peter Moore. I'd get a tattoo of whatever the hottest game is on my right arm, and tell you, if you want to play this game, you got to buy an Xbox or a PC. That's how I would do it. But that's not how business is right now. Business is much different. Games aren't costing $50,000 or $75,000, $100,000 to make. They're costing half a freaking $1 million. Yeah. $500 million budgets, 250. It looks Spider-Man 2, $315 million budget, and Spider-Man 3 was forecast for $425 million. Sony can't afford to do that. Xbox, they're the richest company in the world. They're not going to do that. So they have to figure out a way to make money on these investments. And unfortunately, cross-pollination is just something that old men like me have to accept. I don't like it. I'm not going to bend the knee to it. I'm not going to wave it through the door. Yeah. But I understand at some point that those conversations are just going to be moot. And that's just the way it is.
And I agree with you on that overall. And I definitely get that we're going to have to accept that. Like I might feel away, but I'm going to accept it. But I also look at it like it's the same thing with PlayStation when they bring their titles to PC and they do it late. They don't get the return in investment necessarily from that immediately, or maybe at all. Like it's a diminishing return because it took so long, and these guys may have played it already or moved on to something else on PC. I feel it's the same way with Gears, where the people who would care to play it probably already played it on Xbox or don't care enough to really invest into it the way it is on an old collection. Now, if it's a newer game and it's released within 6 months, maybe. But like a past game, I don't know if I really see the need to bring it over there like that.
Well, again, listen, 2025 is going to be very interesting. Of course, again, hang around, folks, because we're going to get into our thoughts, theories, opinions, and wants for 2025. But listen, before we bring Infinite Umber in, Crispy Bomb, I just want you to finish up your point regarding, gaming in 2024 on Xbox for you specifically. Again, you're a busy man. You've had a lot of stuff going on this year. You haven't had much time to game. But I love the fact that next week you're taking a whole week off, and all you're going to do is sink your time into Indiana Jones. And I'm here to tell you that after 50 plus hours, I almost felt guilty beating it because I was literally having so much fun. And yeah, the story is so well written, and the music is great, and the voice acting is top tier phenomenal. But that is not what got me. What got me was the idea that I could be finding something around the corner if I just looked. And there's always something around the corner if you spend the time to invest in the character of Indiana Jones. You're going to absolutely have a blast.
And that's where I say, I think the biggest win for Xbox is starting to destroy the narratives.
Yes.
And yes. I think, a lot of people are going to be like this, that, and the other thing. Why do I want to buy a console? We buy consoles for our experience. Like, that's what we buy it for. Like,
yes,
you have people come out and say, no, there's not a lot of multiplayer aspect. That's why you go gas game on one console and it doesn't work, but you go on the other and you're like, oh, this is great. So you look at what they're bringing out, and I think the best part of it is that you just started with Indiana. You know what I mean? You really, and this is where I go and say, the DLC aspect, didn't see anybody hating on Shattered Space. I mean, seriously, like, like the game of the year BS. All right. Well, why was it Shattered Space at least in the conversation some way? It wasn't. Okay. What is it? Because it's only Xbox title. Is that what it is? Because that's the way some of us look at it. And I think it's, if you're a gamer, you're a gamer. And, once you experience both, and I have experienced PlayStation 5, it's not what I would want. Okay. But once you experience both, you look at different aspects, and you look at the ecosystem, you look at the controller, you look at, do you trust putting your credit card on there? Because sometimes, no, I that's part of the reason why I PSN, like, what I got to go buy a gift card every time? I don't know. That's not my jam, man. So I look at that and I say, I think Xbox is breaking down barriers, and some people are still going to hate it. They're going to hate it until the middle of next year when we have like 3 games out. Okay. And then the showcase is coming, and they're probably going to drop another 10 new games or something, or games that they haven't talked about in years. You know what I mean? Like, Contraband still sitting out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's games out there that, we haven't seen enough of. Like, it's just a little sizzle reel. So, I think really the thing I look forward to is the thing that I think a lot of us that are on Xbox have. And that's, if I want to play it, I can, because I don't have to spend extra money. Yeah, I could buy DLC, or I could buy, the next new skin. And that's how I invested in. That's how I look at it. But I already pay for the subscription. It's not like it's totally free, but I think they really hammered home how much Game Pass means to Xbox. And regardless of how you feel about buying the console or not, it don't matter to them. They told you that, and you need to accept it and understand it.
Yeah, dude, you are 1,000% right. And I think what you just said is going to be a great segue after we speak to Umbra to the second half of the show. And that's 2025, because a little known creator dropped a pretty big bomb that went over a lot of heads. And of course, I say little, I'm being facetious. Paris Lily, who might be listening in the chat, did a pretty cool tweet about what he is expecting, or more importantly, what he knows is happening in 2025. We will get to that momentarily. And of course, listen, like him, love him, hate him, which I don't know why you'd hate Paris. He's as real as they come. He said some things about the 2024 showcase in June, and man, with that dude right. Well, folks, from what I'm hearing behind the scenes, some stuff I've already talked about, some stuff I will never make mention of it, because A, I don't have the authorization to talk about it, but B, I would feel uncomfortable talking about some of the stuff that I know. I'll just let the cards play wherever they play. Listen, Umbra, this has been one heck of a year for Xbox. And again, like I said, it started out in the sludge. There was a lot of misunderstanding. There was a lot of super heavy emotion. Some people, declared the brand dead to them. Again, no names here. And if you felt that way, okay, yeah, I'm not going to fight you on it. Some people continue to beat down the brand because of the moves that Sarah, Phil, and Matt and the rest of the team are doing. There, a lot of unorthodox things were done, like games on PlayStation from first party. It's never been done before. It soured the community in a really bad way. But there were, again, lots of valleys and peaks. And for me, like you heard me say earlier, one of the peaks was the June showcase. I personally think that Xbox showed up and showed out this year. I want to get your hot take on it. What are your thoughts on Xbox in 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to give off a few of my highlights, because I have been, I guess I could say, fortunate to have access to all, platforms that I want, right?
Right.
Nintendo has been kind of left out of that, but there is emulation.
You PC heads are ruining the world.
I won't go too far with that, because I don't want a letter or something from Nintendo.
You certainly do not, sir. So that's why you don't have a picture here. That's right. Yeah. He's done nothing, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know anything, Nintendo. But if you look at I look at my year in review for all these different platforms and Xbox, I look at mine and I had 49 games I played on Xbox this year.
Great.
And I gotta say, man, I would venture to guess, because I'm thinking about what I've bought most of my games for. Most of the games I've bought this year have been on Steam, because I've been trying to build up the old PC library since I'm playing on PC, right? You find so many cheap deals and things like that. So that tells me right there that most of these games right here were because of Game Pass, right? So that's one. Two, I look at my total time. Even though I'm playing on 3 different platforms now, PlayStation got the short end of the stick, but I did have a Stellar Blade, what was it? The DLC for Final Fantasy 16, Astrobot. That was really it. So they got the short end of the stick, but the Xbox still managed to get 907 hours out of me this year.
Wow.
And almost 10,000 gamer score. It's less than what it was last year, but that's because I'm split around 3 different platforms, right? So then I look at the games I put so much time into, and I did the hours on them and calculated. Octopath Traveler 2 dropping into Game Pass, which I loved. Now it couldn't have been my game of the year this year because it's obviously a year-old game. However, Microsoft did do what they said they were going to do. Xbox, and brought it home to Game Pass, which they did finally. I got 223 hours in that.
Wow.
I have Starfield, and I'm looking at all the games I got here, and I'm looking at ones that's specifically Xbox. Starfield, I had the DLC, and finishing off on whatever little achievements from the base game, and then Shattered Space. I had 136 hours in that.
Holy moly. Wow,
so
that's awesome, dude.
I'm getting all my time out of these titles, you know what I mean? So, and then and just looking at there are other games that I played and touched, Hellblade 2, Diablo 4, Call of Duty. All those games supplied by Xbox right into Game Pass. So I'm forgetting right now, but there are, I had a great time on the platform and saved so much more money than I would have otherwise trying to buy everything. And you really do have to give credit where credit is due. I know some people will say, well, hey, I like to buy my games. Listen, I respect it, but if I can play my game or play that game and get what I need out of it then at that point, even if it's supplied through Game Pass, I'm all good. And then I can get that game later on at a cheaper price if I really want to, right? So however you decide to do what you do you.
Mm-hmm.
But Game Pass has still been that thing that I think has never been, I guess, replaced in any other market as far as what it delivers. So if I'm still going to prop up something, Game Pass is going to be that thing for me. What was it? Somebody said something a second ago. I just saw it in the chat. What was it? I just saw it. They said, Starfield guy. He said he had 842 hours in it in Starfield.
Wow.
Adding into my 136 right here with what I had before, I think I had close to 400. So I got about 600 total hours, maybe close to something like that in Starfield total. So yeah, but those things right there, all available from Xbox because of Game Pass, man. It's a W. There's no other way around it. It's just as far as what they delivered this year from first party, they still deserve their flowers for it. It's crazy to see Indiana Jones and Hellblade both get the recognition as the best
value. And back to back, no less, brother.
Back to back.
You know what's interesting to your point here? When you talk about Digital Foundry, I personally would have thought that their picks would have been Stellar Blade, which looked phenomenal, right? A really good looking game. It looks
really good, yeah.
Right. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Listen, I know it's not on Xbox, and that's going to change for 2025 because the producer said they're going to be putting that's happening next year. So we're going to get at least one of them. But that's another game that was a graphical showpiece. So when I saw that they picked freaking Indiana Jones and Hellblade 2 as their number 1 and number 2, I nearly fell out of my rocking chair. That's right, I'm old, folks. I said rocking chair.
Even they're like, hey, Ma, bring me some grits or something. I don't know what people in rocking chairs ask for. No, but yeah, that's cool too, because that blew my mind. Like I wouldn't say it blew my mind because, hey, well, Hellblade 2, I have gone on, record saying it's the best looking game I've ever seen. I listen, I played it on Xbox and I played it on PC. Xbox is stunning. On PC it's otherworldly. Like, it's ridiculous how good that game looks. I've never seen anything like that. Like, when I saw it load up on PC, I'm like, how can this look this good? How can this, like, my eyeballs are not even good enough to properly receive all of this on this OLED screen of mine. Like it looked that damn good, man. That's incredible. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that it was an Unreal Engine 5, of course.
Well, there you go. I mean, you have to at least speak it once.
Had to. Right? And my contract dictates, Epic make sure that I say what I have to say and shout them out. But listen, no, the game looks incredible. I was a little surprised, though, to see them put Indiana Jones over it. But at the same time, the id Tech engine is incredible, too. And Indiana Jones does look damn good. And, I've seen some people post images of it on Xbox, because I've been playing it on PC, and it looks ridiculolously good. Trust me, I have it on all.
Everything I posted, the video and the stills, that's from the Series X, brother. That is insane that it looks that good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm playing it on PC with all the ray tracing and all that. It looks crazy, trust me. But I've seen people posting their stuff from Xbox, their images and screenshots, and it looks damn good. Like, it's like, wow, that engine is doing work. Like, when people put that up there, I know they do it sometimes to rile me up. Oh, id Tech better than Unreal, whatever. I'm making a list. You all are on it. Roshan, you have time to delete that comment you just made. I saw it. But no, they deserve their flowers. When it comes to id Tech, the engine is incredible too. So I was a little surprised to see them put Indiana Jones over Hellblade. I still think Hellblade looks better. If but maybe I guess they're looking at the whole overall of all it can, different environments and such. I guess I can give them that. You know what I mean? But like, if you're talking about just character, like if you look at the details of each of the characters and the I guess the smaller details of the world itself, Hellblade 2 is just, to me, takes the cake. Also, too, I think the outside environments of the world environments, like of Hellblade, just looks sharper and more believable in some instances than Indiana Jones, because I really look up close on these things, and I think it's just more clarity in the Unreal Engine for outside environments and stuff like that. But listen, you can't go wrong. 1 and 2, either way, I look at it like 1A and 1B. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
incredible. But yeah, and next year we got some crazy stuff going. I mean, I know we're going to get into that too, but I think everybody who's on Xbox, or at least those looking into getting into Xbox, you really should make that I think that decision going into next year to do so, because I know there's been a lot of consternation, people thinking, oh, will there be another console generation, et cetera, how long it's going to last. You got yourself another generation or two. They're not giving up on the consoles anytime soon, and it's just you got so many IP that they're going to put their money into to properly move themselves up in market share. So I don't think you're going to go wrong one way or another. And even if they do end up bringing those titles over to PlayStation, hey, more power to our Hoove brothers over there on that side. Get in and play these games and enjoy.